Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking at the Bryton Rider 320 cycling GPS computer. So what Bryton has done is they've really taken over that niche for more affordable but highly powerful computers. And with the 320, this is one of their more affordable options that brings a lot of the high-end features to a much lower price point. Now in terms of packaging, really small. This is actually the bundle, but it's almost hard to believe because the box is so small. I'll go ahead and take it out. And while I do that, we'll go over the specs. This is available in two versions. You can get just the head unit for $120, or you can get the bundle, which includes the heart rate monitor, as well as a cadence sensor for $180, so pretty well priced. These have a 2.3-inch black and white display, non-touch screen. The big thing with the 320 compared to, say, the 420 Bryton model is you get no mapping features. So you get all the standard sensors, power meter, and other kind of connectivity, but no mapping. Now, in terms of mapping GPS quality, they have the full 5 GPS connectivity, so this should work worldwide. You get 72 functions, which is kind of ridiculous, to be honest. So everything from temperature to altitude to speed to average speed to power meter, even down to left and right pedal. So it's pretty impressive how many options they have. And one of the big advantages of running a dedicated cycling computer is that the battery lives are really nice. So this is a 35-hour battery life, way more than you could ever get by mounting your cell phone. Now inside the box, what we get is the head unit itself. And it looks pretty good. You can see a glossy screen, fairly thin. It uses the Garmin mount, although they've squared it off for some reason, but it still fits pretty well on any Garmin style mount. You get a stem mount with a bunch of options here with the little rubber rings. It's easy to use to put on your stem. I do recommend looking at a out in front mount, as Bryton offers some as well. You get the heart rate monitor here. Pop this out of here. And what's nice about the heart rate monitor is actually detachable from the strap itself. So as this becomes sweaty, you can easily detach the sensor. This is the sensor portion with a removable battery from the actual strap. So definitely a nice feature. You get the cadence sensor, which you just attach to your crank arm. So really simple. Again, a whole bunch of options for mounting. Speed is taken from the GPS sensor, or you can buy a separate speed sensor. Now let's take a look at the weight of the Rider 320. Now just the head unit by itself comes in at 68 grams, so quite light. The heart rate monitor with the strap comes in at 44 grams. And then the cadence sensor with two of the rubber mounting straps will come in at 12 grams, so fairly light overall. And with this, no wires, and you don't need the speed sensor, so definitely a sleek package. Now let's take a look at the fit and finish of the Rider 320. Now they advertise this as a simple but powerful GPS, and it's designed for both amateurs and experts by providing a lot of high-end features with a very simple interface. Now overall dimension-wise, this is 2.2 inches, so fairly large, black and white. It's not as nice as your cell phone, obviously, but pretty nice clarity. You get the Bryton logo on top, and you get a 4-button interface. So you get 2 orange buttons here. The bottom left one is a page, so you can cycle through pages or go down on the menu. Then you have an OK button and a lap button on the bottom right. They're both really easy to click, as they have a nice texture to them. On the back, you have 2 additional buttons. Now these are labeled here. One of them is a power button and the backlight, while the other one is a pause or stop lap or a return. So if you have a menu open, you can actually go into the menu or press it again to exit the menu. It's fairly simple to use. We'll go into the setup a little bit later. It uses a Garmin mount. You can see, but it's kind of squared off. I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe it's a patent issue, but it fits any standard Garmin mount. You don't get the satisfying click when you put it in, as it just gets a little more friction. But I found that once you get close to center, it gets really high friction, so you can actually adjust it left to right slightly. And it works out pretty well. It doesn't rattle or jitter on the mount. It's also USB rechargeable, so you can see here, micro USB, pretty standard with 35-hour runtime. You shouldn't have to charge this very much. You will need to plug it in to connect it to the Bryton app to pull data and sync it with any training or Strava type apps. The heart rate monitor is also really nice. I like the strap. It feels really elastic and soft. And I think the best part is the way they've designed the attachment. Using these little button interfaces, it makes it really easy to run this and then easily take it off to wash the strap. As this is against your chest, it gets usually pretty nasty. And the hook interface is also quite nice. So you can see you put it in there, as well as adjust the strap mechanism, so really quick to take on and off. The cadence monitor, another really simple device. It just uses little hooks with rubber straps, and there's plenty of rubber straps with the packaging to get the right fit. Now let's set up the Bryton 320. The best thing about the 320, it's pretty straightforward to set up. First option is language. So pick English, say yes. Then you pick the units. Go ahead and do pounds and miles. And that's it for initial setup. So you're ready to go at this point. Once it launches up, you have a automatically determined data grid, and it'll automatically get speed from GPS once it's connected. Here's your battery status in the top right corner, and the GPS status. And as I said, you have a auto-generated field. So you have a couple options already. You have your speed, altitude, ride time, cadence, or distance. Everything's pretty clear and easy to read. You can see the display isn't it's not a 4K display or anything. It's still black and white, but it has a good contrast and actually adjustable as well. So let's go ahead and set up the sensor since we have the bundle. Now this is where the button interface is a little bit non-intuitive. The back button on the left is to open a menu. The bottom left here is to go down on the menu. So we'll go to settings, press OK. We'll go to sensors, and we're going to go connect them. So I have the heart rate monitor. So I'm going to click OK for more, rescan. And we'll see if it picks it up. Picked it up, and now you can actually fill in some things like the max heart rate. All right, so now we're fully set up, and it'll actually show which heart rate zone you are in percent of FTP. So a lot of nice statistics for when you're riding. Let's go ahead and set up the other sensor. So navigate back to settings. Go to sensors. You have the cadence. And then simply press more. OK on that. OK on rescan. See if it picks it up. Rotate the crank a little bit. And that's it. So you get the ID and you're connected. So you can actually turn them off too if you want to attach to a different one. So that's it. Now we have both sensors connected. Let's go back to the main menu. So the great thing about this is really simple menu navigation. Cycling is your data screen. View history is to look at your ride. Settings are the sound settings, video settings, the contrast. And then you actually have bike profile. This is pretty cool. So if you go down to bike, you can pick which bike you want. This is where you use the two left buttons to go up and down. So you can have up to 2 bikes, and with each bike you can have individual sensors. This is a great way to share the same head unit on different bikes. If you have a commuter or a mountain bike and a road bike, it's a great way to easily connect between the two without always having to repair. So one annoying thing is once you're in a menu like this, you can't actually get out. The return button is actually the up button, so you have to pick one. Now let's go ahead and set up a data screen. Now with the button interface, it's a little bit clunky, so we'll go to settings, rider configuration, data page. So you get up to 8 pages. So automatically it's in auto mode. We're going to click OK. Now you can go up. So we can do a manual setting. Press OK on that. Go to data page. So we can have up to 5 data pages. You can have them on or off. So let's go ahead and configure one to show you the process. Within each page, you can have up to 8 items, so quite a lot. So let's show you what that looks like. That's 8. So with 8, you can pick individual items in each. Everything from speed, distance, heart rate, power, left, right meter. So really detailed, up to 80 or more data fields. You can even do sunrise, sunset. The lap functionality is really nice too. You can see the average heart rate on the last lap, average speed. So you can use that to do a live segments if you know a segment and you want to see your progress. So I like to do a little bit less than 8. 8's a bit much. So let's go with 6. So you have a little bit bigger display. And then when you want to pick an item, there's different categories. So you have speed, time. You have distance, altitude. That's the best part about GPS. You can actually get percent grade, current altitude, altitude gained, altitude lost. Energy, and that's based on some of the user profiles you put in there. Temperature, it's built-in barometer in here, which is nice. You have the heart rate. And as I said, you can do percent FTP, different heart rate zones, a lot of options. Cadence, you can see your average cadence, the lap cadence. Power, there's about 28 options in here. If I click OK, you can see once you pick one, there's a ridiculous amount. So normalized power, different averaging windows, and even down left pedal, right pedal. So it's pretty clunky to do this. Thankfully, you don't have to do it once, and you can use the app to set this all up, which is a little bit easier to use since you have a touchscreen. So I'll go ahead and pick one since I can't get out of the menu. You can also add lap pages, and that's a nice way to, since you can't do live segments like say with Strava integration, you can actually look at your last average speed, last distance. So if you're doing intervals or you have a segment you can start the lapping function pretty easily. The backlight on this is also pretty strong. So we go back to the main screen. You can manually turn it on here, and you can see now it's on. And you can actually change the settings of how it turns off. By default, you can have it not turn off, or you can have a couple second window for it to turn off. And let me show you that configuration. So you go down to settings, general. You see you can turn off files. You can see how much memory you have. Go to system. You can adjust the brightness, which is an interesting feature you don't typically see. And the annoying thing is, you see I can't go up in the menu. I can only go down. So you have to loop all the way around. Backlight. So automatic uses the sunrise and sunset time to automatically adjust the duration, or you can manually do it. So if I go back in here, you can have it never turn off. So manually, once you turn it on, it'll stay on. Or you can have a couple minutes down to seconds. So do 5 seconds. And now you can see if I have it on, within 5 seconds, it'll turn off when it's idle. So really easy to set up. You don't have any of the training functionality. So you only have the data page view, a couple settings, and you can do the auto syncing through the app to automatically upload your data without ever having to take it off your computer. So now let's check out the Bryton app. With the app, you're able to do a lot of the configuration and data syncing automatically. Connecting your device is really simple. You download the app, you have the GPS on, and you enable Bluetooth. Once you're connected, you can see you have a bunch of options. You can auto sync tracks. That's a really nice feature. So when you're done working out, you can automatically link it to your Strava account or any other training program automatically. You can also configure the display screen, and that's one of the features I really like. As the button interface is pretty clumsy, here you can use your touch screen and the simple dial interface of Android or Apple to quickly select all the data fields. You can turn on and off pages and adjust the lap pages as well. You're also able to set up notifications through here, which is another nice feature. So if you get an email or a text message, it can pop up on your screen and notify you. Also with the Bryton Active App, even though it doesn't have a great rating, at least on the Google Play Store, it has a lot of features such as training, and it'll show calendar with events. With the Bryton 320, you can't really use much of those because when you try to upload an interval workout, it's not supported. Now let's get the GPS on the road. When you first power it up, it has to connect to the GPS signals. This takes about 10 to 40 seconds depending on where you are. The icon in the top right corner will update and your speed will then be displayed. Once it's connected, you're ready to roll. And you can see once you have the screen configured to your liking, all the data is displayed, really easy to read. And with the adjustable contrast, you can really tune it. You can see here the glossy screen shows some reflections. That's slightly annoying, but with the contrast of the screen, it's not that bad. Also, it will remind you to start a workout if you start riding without having set the cycling active. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Bryton 320. What we like about the GPS is that it's very affordable. Even with the bundle price, it's under $200 and really has all the same features that the higher end units have, but at a much lower cost. It's also quick and easy to set up. You don't have to go through a difficult instruction manual or a lot of screens to get the sensors connected and get on the road. The display is also highly configurable with 8 pages and 8 items per page. You can really configure it however you want and have each page be tuned in for each type of workout. Some of the cons is the fact that they use a glossy screen. That results in a lot of reflections, especially when you're going through trees or mixed terrain. Also, with the Bryton 320, you don't have any of the training options, even basic intervals, which is something that's really nice to have on the road. You can use the lap functionality to mirror that, but you can't pre-program workouts. Also, the button interface takes a little bit of practice, especially with the unlabeled rear buttons. You do have to recall what they mean on the road. Taking everything into account, we'd give the Rider 320 GPS a 9.2 out of 10. This is a really affordable GPS computer with a lot of the more professional features at a much lower price point. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.